I want us to remember, I want us to remember that, especially because I think it's too easy to go into feelings of failure, isn't it? It's too easy to go, well, screw it. I couldn't get it right for today. I yelled at the dog. I right got frustrated with the wife who put the dishes in wrong. I didn't say my intention. Oops, I didn't do that thing. And then we're pretty easy to be hard on ourselves, and we're pretty easy to be hard on others. And then we're pretty easy to quit out of all that hard, aren't we? We're pretty easy to quit. And so then we go, I can't do it. I'm not capable. You're not worth it. This is too hard. I can pick something easier. And then we repeat that cycle endlessly. On Saturday, we talked then about fearlessness, the reality that these two essential teachings, that of loving kindness and compassion, are the greatest warrior trainings ever, because it requires everything of you, doesn't it? It requires everything of you. It's not just a memory. It's not just a great idea. It's not just an intention that I can recite. That would be easy. I could remember to recite a few words. It's that we have to live it moment by moment and breath by breath. Wow, that's an aspiration. That's an aspiration. And we need each other in its path. And so this fearlessness that I talked about on Saturday and last Tuesday, as it relates to open-heartedness now, right? This idea of approaching everything wholehearted. Actually, it got clear to me yesterday, this is going to mean that this heart has to keep breaking. Now, I liked the idea a lot. And yesterday, I got right up against the wall with someone who was just in blame and shame and judgment and raising voices. And I was like, I don't think I have it for this. Maybe I don't. Maybe I don't. And so stillness and silence and a pause is always a good idea there, right? Just that. Like, let me just gather the aspiration and intention back to myself. I did not have a great idea for what to do. It didn't work anyway, which is, let's just be rational. That'll get you something. Not slightly. Nope, not at all. Yes, all you rational people are nodding at me. Yes, very good. I've tried that. I tried that. It doesn't, no, nobody's home. It does not work. And then I remembered then in the suffering of it all, in the surrender of it all, in the nothing else to do, nowhere else to go of it all, I remembered I can bow to this too, and that is enough. Just recognizing the truth of suffering, that takes a lot of fearlessness, and then more fearlessness, doesn't it, to feel it yourself. Nobody wants this. I was in a pretty good mood till then. Didn't want to lose that. I was having a pretty nice day. Things were kind of going along, working my way. I did not feel like feeling the truth of suffering directly in my own body, mind, and heart. And I knew that there was only one way to get through this, and that was that way. There it was. I was either going to have to feel this, or it's going to have to repeat a very dangerous cycle. Right? Very much more dangerous than pain. And what is that? You're all unmuted. What was it? I'm gonna have to get up close to this. What is it? Loss, pain, hurting, unpleasant, confused, not liking, not wanting something else. These are the causes of suffering. And there it was. And the fearlessness was, there's no way through this moment, guarded, rational.
Stupid.
I'm going to have to So the fearlessness today is going to be bigger still. It's bigger still because it's that one. To truly feel, now we understand, the neurosciences are saying it so, that compassion itself is going to be what saves the world. It's going to be what saves the world, not just you, the whole world. Because until we can feel for the others who are voting exactly the opposite way today, the opposite, 180, right? You can't figure out how they got there. You can't see the facts. You don't know why. This just doesn't make any sense to anybody. Until we can feel for them too, and their genuine desire to be free from pain, their genuine desire to be loved and loving, their desire to be safe and happy and well. Until that day, we're going nowhere. And we know it, don't we? We do. Doesn't mean it's not hard. And it's going to take everything. That's right. That's right. Compassion, then, that feeling for the truth of not only our suffering, where we begin, but then the suffering, the pain, the confusion of another is the big opening, because it means, ouch, it's going to hurt for me too. It is. It's going to hurt. If we're really waking up, the truth is that others' suffering is going to cause pain for you too. And then we sign up for it. Don't we? Isn't that why we're here? We're signing up. We're going, okay, all right, I'm on that train. I'm going that direction. I am going to get scared. I am going to get frustrated. I am going to weaken. I am, right? It's all true. I'm going to deaden, just like I did yesterday. Forget it. I don't even really need to be here. I could be somewhere else, but no healing, no solution, no path there. That's lost in the woods. So then we're going to do, if we are willing to be fearless as we turn towards the truth that there is suffering in this life and that another suffering is also my suffering, that I cannot be truly happy, well, have ease. If others around me are suffering, how could it be? And we have plenty of evidence for that in our country and in our world. Then how do I live? And we begin by setting intentions each day to open completely. We start that day, that very good day, that way every day. And so we're going to do that today. We're going to do Tonglen, sending and taking, and we're going to be kind to ourselves in the practice. One of the mistakes I've been hearing, though, is people are telling me about their experiences and practices, and it's a mistake not because the heart of it's wrong or because the mind. People are actually, I'm noticing the instruction is actually not to breathe it in just through the nose and the mouth. It is not that instruction. The instruction for Tonglen, just so you pay attention when we get there, is to open the whole mind body being. You are the whole alchemist, the whole metabolizer. You don't just take it in one small way. You really, to transmute suffering, it requires all of you, every cell, every pore, every hair. And so you imagine yourself, this gigantic sort of generative healer, taking it all in. It doesn't just touch the lungs, it touches the heart, it touches the bones, it touches everything we own. And then I want you to see the difference of holding suffering in that larger container of the whole of you, not just the body either, but the whole awakened heart mind. And then it becomes quite workable. Then it's workable because that awakened heart mind in you is what? Boundless. There's no limit. This is just one little strand. It's okay. All that gigantic infinite bodhicitta is right there to metabolize to digest, to integrate. And so let's see if we can try some versions of this. We will not be going through the 7 categories with this practice today. I think just 1 or 2 is probably enough. So let's get ready to sit. And in Tonglen practice, by the way, as we did not ring the bell, right? We did not ring the bell in non-meditation meditation. We said every moment's the meditation, the bell ringing, the not bell ringing, every moment before and after. So we don't limit non-meditation with the sound of the bell. We do, however, ring the bell in Tonglen practice. Why? We let the strike of the bell itself become the evidence for bodhicitta. The very strike of the bell sounding out throughout all time, all space, actually is evidence, the manifestation of the truth of bodhicitta in you, in me, in vast, wide open space. So we're going to ring the bell. And establishing a supported posture. We tip the chin in a little. Be watchful that we don't move too forward. We're going to stay stable, centered in our seat. And then just finding the breath in the whole body. Letting the whole body breathe. Remembering that the breath is beyond the body as well. So be watchful that we don't tighten around this idea of the body. The body is this physical form. It's also subtle, very subtle. There's levels of body, just like Flower Newhouse. She used to see those auras, right? The reality of the body in its infinite forms and being. And then we're going to gather the breath, bringing attention there. And then with the next in-breath, taking an extra large, extra long, extra deep in-breath, holding at the top and releasing the shoulders. Just hold. And then a big audible out-breath. Another one. Big out. More. Settle, soften, soothe with the release of the next out breath. And letting the body mind find its own natural rhythm and breath. May we call to mind all those who have supported us on this path, those now, those before, all the awakened ones, all the Buddhas, the Christs, Muhammad, Allah. Invoke them, invite them all here. They are actually all alive through you. As you're taking that breath in, breathe in the reality of your own bodhicitta, your own awakened heart and mind. Make contact. See if you can't ignite that felt sense. And may we offer this practice today to all beings everywhere, without exception, those alive and those past. those yet to be born. And feel the stillness. And the silence. And the open space in which it all appears and changes and disappears. These are the qualities of bodhicitta, your own heart mind. You may choose to leave the eyes open in this particular practice because we are turning towards the truth of suffering. I close the eyes so that I can make better contact with that inner experience. You see what works best for you. We're going to rest in stillness and silence here, stabilizing, purifying, unifying the heart, body, and mind. Every moment in which you arrive to this body, this breath, a moment of great fearlessness, of courage, arriving to life, to the self, to others, is exactly as you are. and making contact. With each out breath, we release the present moment to arrive to the present moment. Feeling the sense of that open space, that infinite container, the boundless lens that holds all experience. See if you can rest the mind within that spaciousness. See if you can get an experience, a real contact with that sense of spaciousness, both around you. And then see if you can make contact as you breathe in, breathing into the heart space. See if you can get that same sense of vast, boundless open space within your own heart mind. They are one and the same. This will require somewhat and is useful, a somewhat dissolving sense of this perceived solid body, of this perceived solid self. We have to make ourselves a little more porous. There has to be a little more space and room, even in the cells, even through the skin barrier. We have to open wider, which actually invokes and invites that dissolving egoic self. Can't hang on to me, and open into the reality of that spacious, boundless, awakened heart mind. And if you notice a bit of gripping, a little grab into the body, I used to do that quite often actually. Just know that that's a little bit of that fear going, wait a minute, if I dissolve, then who's here? And actually, that who is the bigger who, not contained any longer by something as small as muscles and hair, organs. And so, with each in breath, as you're breathing in, you're creating that more porous um, skin or boundary, or dissolving that all the more. That's going to help us in our Tonglen practice, because the sense of me and other is already false, and me and open space, these two ideas of these two things, is also false. So we're just really dissolving the awakened heart mind into that vast open space. As Chogyam used to say, no distinction. You will notice that it takes several moments to unhook ourselves from that smaller self identity. And for some, this will be sufficient practice this week. Just this resting in bodhicitta, invoking the awakened heart mind, making contact, and then resting in its spaciousness. Remembering who we really are. And for extra support, I do not move directly into Tonglen. I first invite and invoke those heavenly abodes. I remember the goodness. I remember my essential, as well as every other essential's true nature: to be happy, to be well, to be safe, to have and be loved, to love. Inviting any phrases that feel supportive and help you connect, recall, remember, and dissolve that false barrier. And then for a moment, why don't we make contact with whatever goodness you can feel, see, sense, and breathe it in. We're going to begin supporting ourselves with this goodness. I'm hearing a clock tick, and I'm remembering that I'm inside on a cold day. I have people I love here. I'm warm. I'm dressed. I can sit and stand. A lot of goodness. A lot of blessings. And feel fortified by these realities. Remembering that you have been loved and cared for, supported. And as you sit and breathe, you are sitting here with all those others who have contributed to your happiness, to your well being. You are not alone or independent, but whole, interconnected right now. And then I'd like you to begin to focus your attention on a moment, a recent moment would be preferred, in which someone you love was experiencing difficulty. Someone you love. And I don't have to go back very far for that. And I'd like you to recollect that experience. Feel the felt sense that was present in the body. You might picture the interaction if it was with another or with yourself. You might feel into sensations. I felt a kind of gong, like a heavy drop, and I can feel that, remember that now. It may not have been reduced energy. It may have been a restlessness arising, a little anxiety, a pulsing, a vibration, a contraction. Let's see if you can make contact with the mind body and its experience in that moment, recognizing the distress of someone you love. And then if there's another, you're inviting that other here. Remember, you can place them in front of you. You can place them in your own heart space. See where you can make contact. This other feels well embedded, so I'm able to hold them here in my own heart. And as you're making contact with the truth of their distress, just feel the effects for you. I can tell my heart rate just increased slightly, maybe even got a little elevated heart rate. There's a felt sense of a little bit of pressure in the upper chambers. Suspect a little contracting in the lung. We're not trying to change anything. We're just making contact with that reality that another's suffering is our suffering also. However subtle. And in the Tibetan tradition, they then take this experience of suffering and they um, transmute it into a dark black smoke, um, smoggy, claustrophobic, uh, contracting nature. And remember, we're going to begin to breathe this in with the aspiration to take this suffering from the other. But we're not going to breathe it into just the heart space. We're not going to just breathe it into the lung. We're going to really, in that forest sense of awakened heart mind, we're going to let it move into the whole body being as we breathe in that dark black, smoggy, might be hot smoke. And as it touches us, it begins to transmute by your very willingness, by your very love, by your very care. Within the crucible of the heart mind of bodhicitta, that dark smoke becomes white steam, gentle white light, radiant. And by its radiant nature, by this very willingness, it actually moves itself right back out. And so as we're breathing out, we breathe out that radiant light of healing, of the wish for the end of suffering. Maybe something soothing or calming, whatever is needed, whatever the good medicine. We breathe it out on the out breath, sending it out, sending it to that other. And on the in breath, we continue to breathe in that pain, that suffering, that fear. May you be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. And my wish for your happiness, your ease, and your freedom be so. Staying in the visualization as best you can, staying in contact with the breath and breath sensations. Breathing in and out, seeing if you can keep the in breath and the out breath equal. A little bit of a tendency, I noticed, to either shorten that in breath, like I don't know if I can take that all in, and long out breaths. I just want to send the goodness. It actually requires a great equanimity. I have to make contact with the whole truth of suffering, breathing it in. And I also need to make contact with the truth of the end of suffering, breathing it out. They are equal. We can expand the practice then in a couple ways. You can, just from this contact, this experience, and this is easiest for me, so I'll offer it to you first. I then expand the heart mind, moving beyond the body into that vast, boundless space, continuing to breathe in that difficulty, that pain, that suffering. Continuing to send out that good medicine, white light or steam or objects, whatever can be most helpful. And then I imagine that just like me and just like this person, I think of all those others who know this suffering too. And I begin to breathe in, either in increments or larger, depending on your capacity, for those others. It might be groups, it might be a few extra people, it might be all beings everywhere. See what's workable for you. Breathing in not only for oneself, not only for the other, the loved one, for all those who have partners who are not well, or who have family members who are ill. Whatever the issue, whatever the suffering, for all those. Or for that one other. We're expanding the heart because of its natural capacity. It is capable of this. Just see where it goes. Continuing to breathe in through the whole mind, body, being, and sending out that good medicine with the out breath. And then I'd like you to just call to mind someone with whom you've had a difficulty, who you also suspect is in suffering. Someone that you know who might know the pain of this. The fears associated with this, the sick belly, the tight chest. Let's see if you can breathe in for them as well, remembering they too want to be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. They too are deserving. Of happiness, of ease, of well-being, and freedom from self. They too have felt just like this. We're dissolving the barriers a little bit more, expanding the heart and mind a little bit more. May you too be happy. May you be free from pain and suffering. May you have ease and well-being. May you rest in the in and out breath. Continuing to breathe in, make contact with the truth of suffering. And then I'd like you to turn towards yourself. We're going to feel for ourselves and our limits. And our limits. Wherever you notice the contraction, wherever you notice the mind in its not going there, can't do that. I'm just not capable yet. I don't feel anything. There's just a kind of numbness and armor around the heart. Can we feel for ourselves? Breathe in the truth of suffering, this very suffering for ourselves. The shutdown in you, the closed off in you, the numbed out, the distracted, the going the other way. May I feel for myself and the truth of this suffering. And as I breathe out, may I send myself that bravery, that courage, that wholeheartedness, that forgiveness, that willingness to accept myself exactly as I am. Breathing in, taking in the truth of that suffering right into your own heart, mind, and body. Breathe it in. And sending that healing, that light, that good medicine to oneself with the out breath. Let it move throughout the whole body. Breathe into your own heart. For all the moments I have contracted and numbed and gotten aggressive, judged, whatever the armor might have looked like, may I remember that I too wish to be happy. I too wish to be safe. I too wish to be free from suffering and causes of suffering. And can I feel for myself? Right here with this very contraction. But breathing it in into that vast, open, wide, and boundless space. This is not all that I am. and that which also opens and transforms and awakens. Feeling the effects in the body and the heart space. Feel the vast open space. And then we're simply going to breathe in the truth of our bodhicitta heart, the truth of the Buddha nature of all beings, the truth of our genuine desire and wish that we all be happy. That we all be free from pain and suffering. Breathe it in. And them and they. May we all have the ease of being. May we all have this capacity of bodhicitta in us all. To hold, to attend, to heal, breath by breath. Making contact with that boundless and radiant heart and sending that light, that energy, that steam, that good medicine. Breathe it in for yourself, for others, and send it out. Just going to rest in that goodness. May we all be happy and have the causes of happiness. May we all be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May we rejoice, take delight, and be glad for the truth of our blessings, and may we wish those very blessings for others. And may we rest in the breath, the in-breath and the out-breath. Remembering the capacity of this boundless heart mind. And on this very election day, may we all be well. May all beings be well. And may there be peace. And may this practice this very day contribute. So any questions or comments about the Tonglen practice? We're going to be doing that on the spot this week. You will find plenty of opportunities to make contact with the truth of suffering and to breathe it in. Not because you have to, because that's really not the best reason, but because you've already recognized that suffering exists, you already see it there, and rather than the old habit or turning the other way, distracting, or taking it in as you're suffering, we can begin to transmute it right there. Just those couple. I'm going to give this 3 breaths with that wish. May you be free from pain and suffering. Okay, does that make sense? 3 to 5 breaths. You're going to be doing a lot of those because you're going to be noticing suffering everywhere. Once we're awake to the truth of suffering, this is the first noble truth, essential practice. The truth is, without that, there's nothing to heal. With that, everything is healed. Because once I see it and I'm willing to hold it, I'm willing to be connected to it, and willing to hurt, right? That's the bottom line. It's going to hurt me too, because suffering hurts. That's the beginning of changing that thing. My presence, your presence is going to matter. Anybody? I don't see anything in chat or anything online. If not, then I'm going to move to the Kindle. See if I can make contact with that. Why don't you guys grab the book for just attend here? It's coming up. This is why we hold those phrases, by the way. We keep those phrases pretty close. And the reason we do that is we don't want to have to ad lib, do we? We don't want to have to think of something fancy as we confront suffering. And so that's why the repetition of the phrases is there, because I can lean right on that. May you be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. That's the invoking of the medicine, right? You don't want to go, wait a minute. What should I do? What should I say? What should I send? What's really needed? Because you've just moved, right, from that heart of bodhicitta into thinking. You don't want to have to do that. That's the repetition of the phrases and why it's understood to be so valuable. I'm going, I got caught up in some other part of this chapter. Let's see if we can't find our way back here. Here we go. So we're in chapter 8 now, which is compassion. Here it is. Find you guys again. We should all be able to see that shortly. Can you see it now? It's getting closer. It's for some reason, it's quite large. I don't know what happened. It's gigantic. It's the biggest page I've ever seen. I don't know why that's like that, but let's see if we can't work with it. Chapter 8 for compassion. Machik Labdrom was the young girl, I believe she was 12-year-old Tibetan girl, who actually confronted demons and expelled them with the breath. And she became famous and for that practice, for that work. And this is the quote from her. In other traditions, demons are expelled externally, but in my tradition, demons are accepted with compassion. Let's keep that in mind. In my tradition, demons are accepted with compassion. Make sure I didn't go on. Yep, I can do it this way. It is emotionally challenging. Yes, this practice, the Tonglen practice and practice with compassion, is more emotionally challenging. That is for sure. For sure. It involves the willingness to feel pain. This is against the brainstem, right? We know this, and requires the training of the warrior. This is why Chogyam used that word. It is fearless training. To make it more immediate, he recommended imagining ourselves in their place. That works sometimes. I don't know if it works all the time, because for me, really taking that suffering on, being in their place, I can't do my work as well for me. Sometimes I can get into the body skin of another and breathe for and with them. That does work, especially in dying. For some reason, I can just climb into that body. Other times I can't. And then the best I can do is stay close, be available and present, and really stay as the transmuter, not separate, because that healing is still theirs, but I sort of see myself as that. And when I climb in too much, depending on the level of suffering, I notice I can get lost in there. And then I have to get that reality back for myself. So just see how it works for you. The image of a mother with no arms, watching as a raging river sweeps her precious child away. That was an image used many in the 12th century as a depiction of compassion. And the feeling you would have for anyone in that kind of suffering, right? That felt sense that you would make contact with. For most of us, even to consider a thing is very frightening. Yes, we do not want to experience fear or pain. And of course, fear of pain is a common human experience. You are not failed there. It involves learning to relax. Yes, this is that getting bigger, softening back, not tightening up, being watchful of that, because you are likely also moving into suffering. If you're noticing contracting, anybody catch that? Like, you get to come back to yourself. Yeah, Siobhan, I noticed it too. When that happened, I just had to come back to me. And that's why I went there. It's like, wait a minute, I don't have that much more today. I'm not going to be able to heal the whole world. I can throw a few others in there, and that's all good and right. But I also have to take care of myself in that, right? Your drowning will not benefit others. It will not benefit others. Can I feel for myself in my own limit? I said, because I ran into mine. Yes, I can. And that's still opening. That's still the heart of bodhicitta, including opening now to include myself, and then all those just like me who can't open right now either. Isn't that still opening? It is. And so remember, there's always a direction to go. It may not be the way you imagined it. It may not be, oh, yes, I can include that person knowing they want to be unlimited. Then we come right back to ourselves. That's still an expanding heart. And you need to know that. Just as expanding to go, can I feel for myself and all those who can't open right now either, or who are feeling sick to their stomachs, or feeling the big armor grip the heart? Yes, you can, because you're in it right now. And that's just as much bodhicitta. We become more honest and forgiving with ourselves in this practice, that's for sure. Requires a lot of forgiveness, doesn't it? A lot of, I've got to let myself be how it is. I think I went the wrong way. This is happening. Let's see if we can go. Keep going. Contact genuine compassion wherever we can find it. This is the good news. We cannot become saccharine about this. This is a big practice for me. Early on, I was like, I love the idea of it, right? That felt really wonderful. I just wasn't really capable of feeling my own pain, let alone somebody else's. And so the ache, the twitch, the grip, the tightness, I was like, this is not going that well. Because if I was really getting this, I'd be feeling pretty good. Well, no, actually, that's exactly right. You feel, I still feel it. I can still feel a kind of right grip here in my heart space. Can I just allow that and know that this is the truth of suffering? That's what it feels like, right? It is true. It does grip us. It does, right, contract us. It's true. And then can I feel for myself in that, just like I know that other was feeling it too. I know this, the other was feeling this too. The point is not to overcome. The point is not to become a warrior. It's to be how you really are and recognize the warriorship in the present moment. And that might mean, can I stay with myself? That is just as important and valuable in the contraction than to run some other way. Yes, numbing, very common to go numb or to rationalize. The other one is, I can say the words, I just can't feel anything. You'd be better staying with the feeling and not saying any of the words, because words are a little bit conceptual anyway. It would be my sense that you just recognize the grip, the tightness, the hot, the hard. Stay there. Stay there. And then offer yourself whatever you can. And like Pema says, maybe it's just a warm cup of coffee. Maybe it's just a blanket. Maybe I can just visualize laying that blanket over myself and then possibly others. This is an aspect of this beautiful practice. Let it all count. We can actually feel the barriers come down. We don't always like it. It didn't say that there, but I'm adding it. And we don't always like it, because then I have to be human and feel and vulnerable, and I can get hurt. And it's true, I can. I want you to know it is not hurt with no purpose. It's hurt in the benefit of your true Bodhi nature. You're actually growing that. We get to see our own limitations, our own prejudices and aversions more. Oh boy, don't we? Like, ooh, there it is. Even if I had the right idea, my heart hurts or is closed or is numb, that's all fine. This is a part of the practice. When we harden our heart against anyone, we hurt ourselves. I think for me, this is a key point. Anytime I can rationalize my aggression, anytime I can make sense out of my shutdown, anytime I can go, just be easier to be somewhere else, that the real damage and the number one victim is me. It's me, not the other. I have just climbed in to the smaller container of that protected heart. And that's going to cost. I will go as bold as to say everything. it's going to cost you everything. So it isn't for the other alone that we do this practice. It's for ourselves and our own true nature that we commit and struggle. Instead of pulling back and putting up walls, we can do something unpredictable and make a compassionate aspiration. I would say the aspiration's half the story. The other half is do something. Do something. What can I do? I can recognize it, put my hand on my own heart and say, may I be free from this distress so that I can be of benefit to myself and others. I can't do that. Okay. Can I feel for the others? Wherever you can open the heart, this is the practice. It begins to dissolve fear, and move us towards fearlessness, no doubt about it. And we begin to feel for the humanness of others, not just ourselves. We also understand where suffering comes from a little better. It comes from that. I liked this line, bodhicitta is like a yeast that never loses potency. It's like that sourdough, forgot what they call that. It just gets big. The mother, it just gets bigger and bigger, right? It never loses, it only grows. And boy, don't we need to know that. Go back here one. Yes, it is very challenging to make and allow the aspirations and the offering for someone who has been violent towards us. It is true. That is not the first group to begin with. That's not fair or right to you. And why would you set yourself up or the other in that way, right? Because almost always it rationalizes then the reason I don't have to do that. And the reason I don't have to do that is you've been a real jerk. And the reason I don't have to do that is you're not deserving because you were a jerk. And right, we just tell the story. We get caught in the storyline. This is practice beyond the storylines, isn't it? Beyond the ideas of me like this, you like that, me like the victim, you the perpetrator. It's well into the ultimate bodhicitta, where we know anyone who acts from violence, from unskillfulness, is in their own hell. They are in their own hell. And when we remember this, often we can make the offering. They're suffering too. I don't care how much money they have. I don't care how happy they look. It's not true. You know this because you know it's not true for you, right? Don't you know? Yeah, doesn't matter about the new couch because guess what? I'm still completely contracted. I can't even take a full breath. I'm actually just spitting venom or contractions or judgments, and the cost is to me, and I know it. And I know it. I don't want to spin that for me or for you. Let me go to Tonglen. I'm not going to go over much of this. Just a few words here. The Tonglen practice is really on the spot is the practice this week, but it says, in joy and in sorrow, all are equal. Thus be guardian of all, as of yourself. In joy and in sorrow, all are equal. Right? We often have prejudice, don't we? And we get to pick it up right there. All are equal. Well, right now we're all going, no, not equal. It's not, it is equal. In joy and in sorrow, all are equal. Thus be guardian of all. It's one of my favorite slogans. We exchange ourselves in the practice. You can climb right into the skin of the other. You can merge with them in different Tibetan visualizations. Those are all happening. We use the breath and the medium of the breath itself to send the good medicine. We have to drop the storyline, and that's really the point for me in all of this. If we hold the storyline, this work becomes impossible. You have limited you by that storyline, by the way, not the other. You limited you to the victim. You limited you to the angry one. You limited you to the deficient one. That's the storyline. It isn't what you're saying about another that is the potency of the storyline. It's the identity that you take on in it. That's relevant. Pay close attention to that. We use the exhale to send out the good medicine. We all know that. We breathe in whatever's unwanted. We looked at that. Breathe in whatever you can. Breathe in whatever you can. We also set ourselves up, I think, a little bit like I've got to take it all in all at once, just in this one breath. Well, you don't. Maybe what I can take in now is the reality that you too want to be happy. All right, breathe that in. That you too are in suffering. Breathe that in. Whatever is available to you. You don't have to just take it all in one big gulp. That's not required. And I try to name that. I can breathe in the truth of your humanness and your fear. That's usually a place I can always begin. And I can always see fear. Can't we all? Every moment of aggression, every moment of judging, every moment of contraction, fear. And see what happens from there. Fundamentally, experiencing openness is having trust in the living quality of basic energy. Really what it says is energies are being shifted, transmuted, interconnecting all the time. And it's organic and dynamic, and we are a part of that. And we are a part of that. And so whether you see evidence for a change, or you see the person respond differently, or they never get it in the way you think they should, this is not important at all, because the reality of that basic energy, it's both its flux and its healing is always here. It is always here. And we often forget that. And that's another storyline. This isn't going to work. This isn't going to be enough. We're feeling into the texture of things. We can extend the compassion. That's what we did today by including others who are experiencing the same thing, including your same stuckness. Your stuckness. This is just as much a bodhicitta in evidence. Can I feel for all those just like me who just don't care? Because it's not really true. It's not really true. That's just fear. Who are fearful like this. Tonglen practice is not considered the practice of relative bodhicitta, though we make contact with the real in the present moment. It is ultimate bodhicitta, that gigantic, vast, open heart mind that heals it. It is not the relative in you. Don't mistake it. It is not Diana now who's healing this. It is that ultimate, awakened, boundless heart mind in us all. I'm not alone in this. And that's another factor is I go, I am not capable of this. Well, you are right. You are not. That you who you just grabbed is not capable. Ultimate bodhicitta is capable through you. And you are that. Yes, but me? No. No. Us? Yes. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And if you forget, just say it. All of us are here breathing this in. This is not just into my lungs and my little brain and right. No, this is ultimate bodhicitta. And that's why we have to rest in its vastness first. Because if you forget, you did, and when you forgot, what happened? Ah! This is going to choke me. This is going to kill me. This is what you were thinking right before you got angry, right before you got judgmental, right before you went, this is going to kill me. That's why I get to. And that means, see the relative, we fall back into the small self in that small self, we are not capable. We are not capable. Then we have to re-invoke ultimate bodhicitta and feel for ourselves in this moment of suffering. We have to. That's the only portal left. We have to. And it's good news. People visualize a vast ocean or a cloudless sky, infinite space. That all works. We did. I did not feel that we had any trouble invoking the claustrophobic. I think we did a great job there today, guys. I could feel it. Like, okay, we're all joking. This is working out really well. Everybody managed to get a hold of that pretty well. I don't always sense that, but we did our work today. We jumped in. Good for you. Congratulations. That was amazingly fearless. We gave the in-breath and out-breath equal time, energy, and attention. We can do it for an individual, for a group, and then keep expanding that. I like this. Doing Tonglen for another person ventilates, I love that word, our very limited personal reference point, the closed-mindedness that is the source of so much pain. We might say all. Releasing our tight hold on self and to care for others is what connects us with the soft spot of bodhicitta. I'm going to adjust that statement a little bit. Releasing our tight hold on the limited self, right? The me who can't, the me who's deficient, the me who's not getting it right. That one you want to let go of. Why? It's a delusion. It's already false. That's what will connect us to the soft spot of bodhicitta. We don't have to let go of ourselves. We have to really embed ourselves in ourselves, don't we? We have to invoke the real self here. So I don't want us to think I've got to just get rid of self. No, but that don't mistake you. Don't mistake you for that fear. All right, group, we're already at 8:30. I don't know that there's anything more. Take a look at the rest of this for yourself. I didn't find too much more in there. We are going to be working with chapters 10 and 11. 10 and 11 for next week. Finding the ability to rejoice. This is sometimes called sympathetic joy. I like to call it gratitude. For me, it's recognizing all that is here, available and good in my life and all that has nourished it. And then to actually gather that recollection with gratitude. What a beautiful month for this. And to be able to make that same wish for others. May all this goodness be yours as well. So to that end, 10 and 11. So we have an opportunity. This will not include Courtney and Siobhan and a few others, Leslie, because you guys aren't here, but CRC is going to be offering backpacks this year to the homeless. We're going to be doing 30 next Saturday at 9 o'clock. We're going to be stuffing our 30 backpacks and sending those off to CRC to be offered to seniors in need. So that's one option. Please join us next Saturday. We're going to be in the garden and then loading our backpacks at 9 o'clock. That's one option. The other option is we're being asked if we would like to assist in offering breakfast to the homeless as they get their backpacks at CRC. We have to tell them tomorrow whether we want to do that. We're going to be providing breakfast. EMC is going to be sponsoring 50 muffins for that breakfast. So if you would like to make a contribution to that, please do so at EMC-giving or let me know. So we're going to be purchasing those. And then I want to be there. That's a Tuesday, December 13th. Tuesday, December 13th, we're going to be going over to CRC, handing out the backpacks and offering breakfast. So if anybody would like to join me, please write in chat. I'm seeing Libby go, yes, I'm there. I'm there. I want to do that. I'm sorry, all of us can't do that together. But I really would like to have us participate in one of these offerings. If you can't.
So for the, I'm
Yeah.
going to interrupt here. So
Yes.
for the, what the email said, it was for the breakfast, they only need 4 volunteers at this moment. I mean,
Yes.
maybe and then they need, if we want
Breakfast
4
items.
volunteers, right. So that the 4 volunteers would be from 7:45 to 10 a.m. on that December 13th.
Yes.
Another opportunity if we want to do, but I don't think you put that in, Diane. It was they needed 4 volunteers to decorate on December 12th.
Oh, I did not put that in. Yeah.
So I don't know if we want to do that, but that's like another thing.
Yes.
December 12th from 2:30 to 4.
2:30 to 4. That's for decorating CRC's pantry area where we're going to be doing the distributions. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. It just says we also need 4 volunteers to come decorate for it. So
On
I'm
Monday.
assuming yes. So it's for that
From 2:30 to 4.
2:30 to 4. Yeah.
If anybody's available for that. I got lots of yeses. Thank you so much. We will see what they need. But it's a Tuesday, Renee, unless you want to do the Monday decorating, and we want to let them know as soon as possible. Yes, Dennis, thank you. We're going to see. It sounds like we've got easily 4 people. So
Okay.
We will sign up for this. Cindy, do you want to let Sherry know that we do
Sure.
have 4?
Okay, so I'm just looking at the chat. So we have 4 for sure for the
Yes.
breakfast. Should I say anything about, should we wait for the
Yeah,
Monday?
I don't see anybody jumping on the decorating yet.
Okay, so then
Yeah.
I'll let her know about that, and then you let her know about the
Muffins.
muffins.
Yes.
Brenda says she can decorate.
All right, Brenda, thank you. Let's
wait, because I said I'd get back to her. Let's wait a little bit and we can see if we have anybody. I don't have to do it right this minute.
Yes. Tanya, yes, thank you. We need to know, Tanya, so you will have to make a commitment to either the 12th for decorating or the 13th for showing up in the morning.
Right, and that was at the 7:45 to 10 slot.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And that shouldn't be a problem. Like I said, I usually have Tuesdays off, but on the 12th I am at the ranch, so I definitely know I won't be doing that.
Okay, are you making a commitment to that, Tanya? So do you want me to put your name down, or do you need to sort that out?
Let me sort it out and confirm it right now, and then can I confirm that on Saturday?
No, we have to know by tomorrow.
Oh, by tomorrow. Okay, sorry, I missed that part. I guess I didn't hear that. Okay, all right, I will contact you tonight.
Yeah, let me know. And I'm hearing someone else. Good morning.
Yeah, it's Brenda. I can do either or both. You just tell me where you need someone to fill in.
All right, Brenda, thank you very much.
Okay.
I appreciate that. I see a few statements up here. I want to read Siobhan's before we go. She says, this was very clarifying today. I thought it was true that I didn't have what it takes, me too, for loving kindness practice in Tonglen. I thought I had to be in a strong, resilient space, I know, in order to do this, that I had to become a warrior first. Yeah, aha, we become a warrior in the moment, and noticing our own suffering is this. Yes, then we can move on. And it's small steps, one breath at a time. We realize the aspiration to be present, to be available. And by virtue of that alone, don't diminish it. we are healing both ourselves and others. That's right. And recognizing our own fear, our own fearlessness, and holding that is the heart of fearlessness. Isn't that amazing? That very thing, holding our own fear, is the heart of bodhicitta in evidence right there. Yes. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for being available, for being a resource to CRC. They need our help. They do not ask us often. So if they are asking us, I know that that means they came up with a bright idea and went, oh, let's check it out. So I'm really, as always, inspired by you and your care. Thank you so much. Blessings to everyone. May we all be well, happy, free from pain and suffering. May we rest in the heart of bodhicitta, breath by breath. Thank you to all of you. I look forward to seeing you on Saturday. Greg will be teaching on Thursday morning at 7. Hope you can join us then as well. And I'll look forward to seeing you all this weekend. Looks like it's going to rain a little bit. So stay warm, stay dry, and let's let the clouds feed those plants. They need it. All right, everyone, have a wonderful day.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks so much for everything. And everybody be safe out there on those roads.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Out.
Take care, everyone. Be well.